What big surprises does life still have for a man over the age of 40? At 45 you get to look forward to a colonoscopy. The prep for the procedure is worse than the actual procedure itself. Oh my god, the laxative drink they provide is horrid. 2 full liters of that stuff too. They have prep, that is pills now. Yesterday I pulled a hamstring raking leaves. Warm-ups are even more important than ever. Everything in life counted as a warm-up until 40, and from this point on everything you do is now classified as a cool down. Nice. Good one. Just turned 40 and my kids are just starting school and a variety of sports. I'm coaching and getting to know my community. I'm making all sorts of new friends who are living similar lives as me. It's been great. I'm similar to you. But I got my kids into sports I didn't play growing up, so I don't coach. It's still really fun to support them and watch them enjoy learning the sports. The games are pure chaos sometimes, but when they begin developing actual skills and start applying them in the games, it's pretty rewarding. Lifelong learning. If you're getting bored with something, job, hobbies, day-to-day life, etc., time to shake it up. As I hit my 50s, I decided to pick up a 50-year-old rusty 240Z, similar to one I had in college, and try to make it drivable and possibly completely restore it, knowing this will take years to complete. Aside from my initial reason, being that I just want to have one again to drive, it's given me a new focus for my spare time. I don't sit and read on the internet as much, watch TV/movies, play games, etc., but instead feel like I'm being more productive by accomplishing new things every day. Had to relearn auto mechanics that I'd learned as a teen and hated at the time, being forced to learn by my grandfather, which I now have come to enjoy since it's a no stress event now instead of a necessary evil. After getting the car running, rebuilding the brakes, and getting the clutch going, I knew I needed to do a ton of welding. So took a one-day crash course at a local tech college and got my hands on a welder, and a few YouTube videos later, I'm doing all the metal work. Find a passion and follow it on a new adventure. Never too old to learn something new. F all that bullshit. I'm 67 and life is just as good as you let it be. Live it until your last breath. Be around young people. Right on. Agreed. I started climbing last year at 42. Improved my physical and mental health and feel better than ever. Yep. I took up ice hockey at 41. Keeps me young. Waking up at least twice a night to piss. I've been doing that my entire life. Runs in the family. Or down your leg if you don't quite make it. When I was 50, I tore a ligament in my finger climbing into bed for a nap. This guy 50s. Wait till he 69s. When you reach 40 you have to decide, do you want life of taking pharmaceuticals daily or eat/exercise to avoid them? You might want to start before 40 when it comes to that decision. At 40 the body starts showing age, usually inflammation. My body is already aging in my 20s, back and muscle pain. People will call you sir without adding you're making a scene. It also helps to be over 40 to get this reference. If you were able to read without glasses, say goodbye to that shit. I recently hurt myself by breathing wrong while checking for traffic. I tweaked my back looking back to back out of the driveway. Guess I needed to stretch before driving. Lol. People you know/relatives start dying with more frequency. Divorces. Facing one's mortality. Coming to terms with their vices. Metabolic, weight gain. Age discrimination in the workplace. Less energy. Erectile dissatisfaction. Boredom and dread. Wondering if what you are doing in life is meaningful. Finances. Retirement. How old are you? I'm 39 and definitely hopeful about a lot of people getting divorced. Ear hair. So much ear hair. What the hell? Just tying your shoes can pull a back muscle that takes weeks to recover from. Your vision starts to go to S at 50. That's just a couple prizes waiting for you. Shit, I'm only 34 and I already have those problems. I'm 37. Work out 5 days a week and live a pretty active lifestyle. I sneezed wrong a week ago and could barely turn my head left or right for 3 days. Good times. Being active may not mean you are healthy or well, because fitness is not only about strength and speed. There's flexibility, cardio, and agility as well. I'm around the same age, and if you work out so much it is very likely your muscles are too tight. If you always work out the same parts, you are just teaching your body to get used to specific range of movement, and if you move at a different angle you are not used to, you're much more likely to get injured. Hopefully you incorporate some stretching or mobility exercise. They'll help to prevent injury, especially from this age onwards. Just turned 56, and it's hard to believe how little has changed as far as mental clarity and physical ability. I honestly still feel like I'm in my 20s. It's not like how I pictured it, and definitely not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought by now I would be tucking my shirts in, checking to see where bingo was being held, whittling wood, etc. It's not too bad. Don't knock bingo and wood whittling. I'm in my 40s, and that is a good time. Watching everyone around you get sick and start dying. Yeah. The surprise to me is that just a few deaths in the family can permanently change holidays forever. I'm 41 now, and my maternal grandmother lived a long time. I spent every Christmas Eve of my entire life at her house with my mom and her brother and his family. The last time I saw her was Christmas Eve 2019. I was 37 at the time. Then she went downhill and had to move into a nursing home around the same time COVID hit, and then she died a couple years ago. I had no idea that would be the last time I saw her, or that would be my last Christmas Eve at her house. My entire holiday season is completely different now. I saw this with my family. Once my mom and aunt's brother, uncle, died, the family kinda went their separate ways. And then my great aunt passed on, and now the family seems further distant, and it really impacts me cause we had these huge family gatherings at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now that's all that's left is the memories. I've come to terms and accepted that life happens, and people you grew up loving and a part of can turn out to be toxic people that go their own after that one relative holding all connections goes. You get to play the mystery game of fart or shart till I've been 40 my entire life. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. I'm 23, and I feel this. I go everywhere alone. I'm usually alone. But I'm not lonely, unless I'm around my parents. I feel this. I used to live in California with my mom and her husband until I turned 17 and joined the army. Every time I go back to visit I feel lonely, but now I live in Michigan and I like to be alone. I don't have a need for friends. It's great to get out once in a while, but I like my privacy. Plus I like to take trips by myself and explore alone. I'm 46 as of this writing. Most people are in the general ballpark when they guess my age. Usually it's a little younger, since I haven't lost hair. But I have enough grey and enough creases around my eyes that I won't fool anyone into thinking I'm 10 years younger. Like most people, though, my mental image of myself is not as up to date as reality. When I picture myself, the image is generally of me as I was about 5 years earlier. Less grey, few lines. I'm not usually surprised when I see other people my age. I have a pretty good sense of what 46 looks like, but sometimes I see someone my age who looks a bit older than I expect, and that kind of surprises me. It makes me realize that I'm not far from being 50, which is an age I can easily remember my father turning. It doesn't even seem like that long ago. Peace of mind. Once you stop giving a ref. All my friends experienced this on or near your 50th birthday. God grants you the power to not give a ref. Or maybe rids you of the affliction of giving a ref. Either way, whether superpower conferred or sweet relief bestowed, you just stop. You reach in your pockets and find no FS whatsoever. You are out of FS. There are simply none left to give. You understand who you are and what matters to you and what and who you value. And everything else just drifts off into you don't give a F land. And it is awesome. Don't get me wrong. You can be concerned. You can be a resource. You can be amazing for those around you. A light in the darkest of times. Precisely because you no longer give a F. At 40, all you did was give FS wantonly. At 50, You amble down the street whistling, with hands thrust deep in truly empty pockets, not giving a single F at all. You'll need to exercise way more. It's funny because people think exercise is something you do as a kid in school. No, you're supposed to do it all life. We are built to be moving and lifting stuff. Eyebrow hairs really do start going off in random directions. A lot of people around you start dropping like flies. I've had parents, grandparents and cousins all die in the last 5 years. About 10 of them. If you live outside of a walkable city, one day you'll wake up and realize that you have a few friends. If you're lucky, and you see them every year, or 4, they count. But people seem to age more quickly in small town / country / non-urban areas. If you can, consider living somewhere that you can walk down the street, grab a cup of coffee or whatever, and see humans. Sometimes my D still works the way I want it to, surprises the S out of everyone at church, myself included. You will look out of the eyes of a 25-year-old, but have the body of a 40-year-old. I'm not saying 40 is old, but Father Time hasn't lost yet. You'll learn to play pickleball. 40 isn't old. Compared to most redditors, 40 is ancient. You're no longer a fun party guy. You're a drunk with a problem. Maybe not the drunk with a problem, but you're right about the party guy thing. I'm having an identity crisis now that I'm all of a sudden losing interest in drinking. Fun drunk nights just don't feel fun anymore. And the 2 days of hangover and crushing anxiety, I'm over it. My left knee just started randomly hurting about an hour ago. No idea why.